Hello, hello, and this is another edition of Designer Reacts. And the whole point of this is to try and bring a little architectural education and knowledge to the masses because not enough people at all really understand what's being built, why, and so today we are looking at a project in Cambodia by T3 Architects. Is a Coconut Club and Park, Cambodia. What kind of building is this? Restaurant and bar and fixed use. So off the bat, it is just incredibly full of nature. This is just outstanding. This is just boom, it pops. It's like, oh, this is a forest that a tree grew out of. Or an abandoned building that is now overcome with the natural wildlife. Because in reality, our buildings should look like our natural environment. It should feel natural. Because, oh wow, these amazing, beautiful vines. I wonder how easy they are to maintain because often vines really just they are a big hassle and you have to really know how to do it well. Wow. This incredible interior exterior atrium because it's all open air that this is just outstanding. So at the stair here, it absolutely steps to correspond with the top, and there's this very simple railing. It's funny, as an architectural designer, the first thing I noticed is stairs. My old boss was like, I asked him, of in the in your most favorite house, what's your most favorite thing about it? And he answered, the stairs. And so that's the most architectural answer ever because honestly, the grass and the vines and the material and just like the overall spatial complexity because I can see so many different spaces. It's both transparent and closed off at the exact same time. I mean, there are these gigantic concrete planes here that I assume are the sheer structure that stops it from wobbling back and forth, and then this concrete structure looks to be these very efficient concrete beams and posts that really free up the space, and then boom, you can cover it with this amazing landscape and see all the way through it. And out front, there's even this amazing bridge here. God, this is just incredibly modern by really utilizing the material because concrete allows for these larger spans. And like if this was made out of wood, it would have to be gigantic trees. So do we, or we can pour some concrete. Again, I think that's basically the same shot of just it's engulfed in nature, and I wonder what the bug situation is like. I wonder everything, but the basically the same material of the screens is that of this infill drop down roof here, which has these beautiful lights incorporated into it. And then just like how would you like how could you not enjoy a meal here? I mean, the feel is just outstanding. The only real design critique I have is the ground is just very bare. But with all of this nature, also they don't bring this nature inside. There's kind of this perimeter wall here that separates the inside and outside. When really the idea is to blend the two, because especially with this column, there there's no real wall, so you can really begin to dissolve inside outside, have it flow because it was honestly a choice to put this small wall outside. They didn't have to because it's just not required at all because the columns all pretty operating as a datum as a point of separation and joining that it's just not needed. So here's the overall plan. It seems the kitchen is back over here. That's actually pretty small. That's all the kitchen for this whole place. Then they must not serve that big of a menu because the smaller the menu, the smaller the kitchen, I mean, you can crank out to hundreds of people with a tiny, tiny, tiny kitchen if you have a very simple menu. You can just really crank it out. And but this is very standard seating. I wonder if this is how they actually seat them because often the furniture plans here are not what's ends up. It's not what ends up as the final. Often they try and permit the maximum number possible and then rearrange from there. So that then on the second floor, it's more. Oh, there's another kitchen. Yeah. Um, but if you notice how they pull everything inside of these columns here, so there's a very, very clear overhang. Here they push it out some, but it's still inside the column, so you can see it, and so it really presents a different appearance on the eye as the true passing coming out and cantilevering over the columns. I mean, if everything was aligned with the columns, it would appear as if the walls or even the glass would be doing the work. When in reality, it's all of these perfectly placed white columns because everything else stays concrete or wood. It stays as its natural color. But here they intentionally painted these white to stand out. So it's really quite outstanding. And then here's a general section showing that atrium space, which that's open at times too. So it's really just this crisscross to how both sides access because the main corridors are along the outside. Main way of improving the space is laterally. So yeah, this project is modern, but modern with the intent of preserving the beauty that is already there with this amazing landscape. I mean, yeah, this building might be interesting if it was all blank, but it's full of life, literal life. And I'm sure the smells are amazing. And so these T3 architects, they did an outstanding job here. I mean, these vines are just ridiculous. So let's read what they have to say. Text description provided by architects. As always, Arc Daily writes nothing, they just slap it all together. So T3 Architects designed the master plan of the Coconut Club Recreational Park located in Phnom Penh, dedicated to kids, teenagers, and families. Okay, so this is very family friendly. T3 also designed the main building proposing different activities around hospitality, entertainment, and wellness by having an organic bar, or an organic restaurant, river view bar, a spa, a kids club, and an event area all around the building. The idea is to create activities like bicycle tour, water games area, slides through tropical plants, and an observation tower. How fun! A slide through a tropical plant. Why is that not in here? Show that picture. That's so fun. I mean, that's not very architectural, but I mean, that's fun. Like, come on now. So again, in this plan here, everything they said about the master plan, they don't even show. I wonder why they didn't want to show that very engaging master plan. So T3 design follows the bioclimatic principles to avoid the use of air conditioning, except some specific areas like spa and meeting room. They do this with a building located between the riverfront and a lush tropical garden, increasing the natural ventilation or the natural cross ventilation. Basically, if there's openings on both sides, you're gonna get a cross breeze, which is why you need to have openings on both sides so you can have a cross breeze. And the sun protection and bamboo and overhangs have been tailor-made to optimize the control of natural light and avoid overheating, both to improve customers' comfort and reduce energy consumption. Well, show this in a diagram, show this in a budget, show this in a spreadsheet, show that part too. I mean, I can't even render it up because I don't know Ethiopia. Like, it seems a little flat, but building is also a nice manifesto in the smart biophilic architecture, bringing nature around and into the building, kind of into the building, but without increasing the loading on the structure to avoid overcost. Because often, every time a plant is added on, this plant, there's a dirt, there's the water, it'll grow on and on and on and on and on. It's basically a live load because the wind and everything. But most of of the plants and trees grow directly in the natural soil around the building instead of being placed on top. I mean, it'd be cool if maybe they like carved it up into it so it seemed like pretty seamless, but oh well. The maintenance is easy and the plants can develop easily without sophisticated without a sophisticated irrigation system. So that's also absolutely crucial about the point of rewilding. RIP, my amazing Professor Sloan. Just this whole idea of don't just put in like a Japanese maple or some BS. Put in what is from here, what is supposed to be here, what is the nature. That's absolutely important. So then the maintenance is easy and the plants can develop without a sophisticated irrigation system. Low-tech solutions are very often the best long-term perspective because if it can grow easily, then plant it. Why not? And especially if it produces anything like fruits and vegetables that we can actually eat. And the plants you are used to create a natural curtain is Verona elliptica. It creates a natural green facade and brings shadow and sun protection and grows quickly with a very limited maintenance as no watering under tropical climate is needed. The main structure of the building is concrete without any specific finishing, and the main intention is to keep the structure in a long-term perspective to keep a reasonable carbon footprint. T3 T3 designed some false ceiling made in bamboo panels, which brings coziness and a tropical touch, which also allows to hide part of the electrical cable. So typically, if it's a very ugly drop-down ceiling, then it's a drop-down because they're hiding it. Here, that was a very sneaky move. They hid everything up there, so like it's a very very clean interior. So ceiling fans add some comfort in case there is no midday wind to always ensure a decent thermal comfort. So this place is a winner for the most part. I mean, still, it doesn't grow anything that they could eat. If they grew natural vegetation that then they cooked in the cafe or whatever, yeah, that'd be even way better. But from a very modern approach of utilizing the materials in a very clever way. I mean, these panels hide all of the electrical panels and, or I mean, wiring, and there's no need for any AC, maybe just some fans. So having open air, also having a tropical climate helps. Because try this in Minnesota, you can't go there most of the time. So yeah, this one is a winner.